I found like my posture changed once I started wearing the dress. Because I don't know, I saw like the costume and it was different dresses and just whatever one kind of fit the best. And I was like, okay, great. And then like the first time I actually like did a scene in my costume and I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, I kind of understood Sue a little better because she doesn't have a lot of lines, and I was trying to kind of read in between like what she was doing, why she was doing it, and Jimmy, the director, kept telling me that I was very much supposed to be the motherly kind of character, and I kind of learned that she hates awkward situations, so she just tries to make people laugh as like an answer to them. But like I found like she was also, like she's a treasure, she's very organized, she knows how to handle her stuff. And so I just kind of took that into my posture. Like I think, even though she's very progressive and forward-thinking for the time, like all these women are, she still was raised with the how to stand like a lady, as how I pictured it in my brain. So like when I got the dress, because I think during rehearsals, like when your speech is going on, I was like this, kind of watching you, and then when I got in the dress, I was like, oh, yes. It was kind of my big change with my costume.
Fefu.
Well, the costumes are awesome, and they do help me get into character, but, like, the head wrap was kind of interesting because, like, myself, sometimes I wear head wraps just sort of, like, you know, obviously not for the play, but Janice was like, okay, like, we're gonna this head wrap on you, and I was like, all right, like, this is cool. So I feel at home in the head wrap one. And the dresses are awesome. The first dress that I wear is much better because I can like move around much more. She's very like flitty sometimes. I mean, she's strong and you know she's going where she's going, but she stops for nothing. And so like the dress helps me to do that. But this one is a bit more restricting. But as far as getting into character, for me, it's the eyebrows. Because clearly I don't draw in my eyebrows on a day-to-day basis, but when I put in the eyebrows, I'm like, all right, yeah. Now I look like Fefu. So for me, it's the eyebrows that help me get into character.
We all have drawn eyebrows, don't we?
Yeah, we have
to.
And I also love that.
Oh.
Jessica, what about your gorgeous dress there?
My dress.
Maker's dress.
Well, I guess it's sort of, I don't know if it really put me into character. It was something to deal with. I lay down like the whole time. But I'm like sleeping in the beginning, and then during the second act, I'm upstairs just like hanging out, reading a magazine. And it's sort of, like if I wouldn't lay with like my ankles crossed normally. Like that's just not how I would lounge about at home. But like in this time, the women are in, well, most of the women are in. So that's sort of a change. That's just something like during rehearsals, you know, it's just sort of like, oh, I'm lounging like I am at home, and then suddenly it's like I got to be aware of like every little thing I'm doing, and that's sort of, I don't know, that's something I guess the women of the time were sort of dealing with, and that's like those changes were being made. I don't know, that change into skirt all the time is new.
And you're missing a ring.
And my empty hand.
Yeah, it's
my
my
leg.
background.
I don't know if you got this through the play, but I'm divorced. And my husband's name was Mike, and you mentioned him. You say, have you seen Mike? Not since Christmas, it's been a while. And he appears in my dream, or they talk about him in my dream. But I realize my empty hand a lot. So like the absence of jewelry like is part of my costume. Is I'm recognizing there's no ring, I don't have a husband, what am I doing with my life? I'm living with Fefu, that's not always fun. She's a little wacky. So it's just, that aspect, Kat gets a ring, I don't get a ring. I was a little jealous about that, but that's, I don't know, that's part of my character, is like
I don't get
missing the ring.
Are you and I doing this with rings?
I guess.
Yeah, it's
Yeah?
married.
I don't have jewelry around my
Oh,
You're not allowed to get married.
someday.
Joanna, what does your dress sort of say about your character in terms of color, design, you know?
I
think it tells the audience that she's a very confident woman, that she knows who she is, she knows herself, and yeah, I mean, it's very elegant, and I think she's rich, she's wealthy, so I think that says a lot about it. Yeah. But yeah, I think it just mainly it's just because she's confident. And, yeah.
Your character seems a little shy, innocent.
Yes, I am the newbie in the group.
And how did you get
Meeting
invited?
She invited me.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, we're all supposed to be college friends except for her.
And I try to fit in.
But you don't
then
quite make it.
No, because
Fefu's crazy.
yeah, she has. I mean, meeting someone like Fefu must have been so difficult. Like
It is.
yeah, because she is off the wall and she's very like you stare at people too long.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just one of those things that you just got to be like.
Do you even talk at the academic thing that we're planning?
I don't either.
I don't either.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wish I wasn't.
But yeah, and that's the reason in Act 1 where why I come in and I'm like, okay, like this girl, like she's gonna get it. Like I'm gonna test her and like see how much she can take. And so that's why, you know, Cindy tries to kind of like defend. At first tries to defend Christina and like kind of get me off of Christina's back, but Fefu doesn't really have anything of it. She wants to she doesn't ask petty questions. She gets right to the point. If she wants to talk about something, she's gonna talk about it, and she wants to know what you think. And so that's
I tell her. Honestly, I think you're crazy.
yeah, and that's just kind of what it's about, and that's why.
There's something to be said for that.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that, and
It's the reason why when I walk in the house first and I see her in the room, then I'm like, what? Do I have the right place? And she's like, yes, and I'm like, oh, hi.
Hey, Celia.
But we don't quite make it.
One more question? Anybody else? Go, Kira. And Karen. Okay.
Yeah. Why is Fefu's outfit kind of, it's slightly, I mean, you're wearing sandals and your hair is like awesome, but it's like free flowing and everyone's hair is, you know, proper and really almost like, everyone like has hot rollers in their hair at some point and you're just kind of like free flowing. Was that significant towards your character?
Yeah, at first they were just, my practice shoes were nothing like this. They were actually heels, but then we decided on sandals because...
We all have heels.
Yeah, the whole thing is that this is my house, and it's
because you're handicapped.
And, but the thing is that this is like Fefu's house, and she is supposed to feel comfortable in her own home, and so, you know, when you're walking around your house, I'm sure you don't wear, you know, high heels and stilettos or whatever, so she's just wearing, you know, the simplest kind of shoe that there is, a sandal, and yeah, very practical. She's clearly a practical gal, and as far as the hair goes, at first, you know, Act 1 and 2, it's all pinned up in that head wrap, but for Act 3 is kind of when, you know, she really starts to, well, the first time you see it is when she hallucinates, and then she just kind of plummets from there. But the hair is kind of a representation of her kind of going wild and going mad, and it's just more of like a way to physically see that.
Right.
I
Yes.
think Kevin had a question.
I'll ask a question that's behind everyone's mind. Eliza Betsy? The kiss?
It's kind of funny that Eliza and I got cast as the parts that we had because we're actually roommates. And,
We share a bunk
We share a
bed.
bunk bed. Well, she lives with us too, but we share
on the
a
other
bunk
side of
bed.
the room.
Yeah.
I get to watch them.
All the hairstyle process, I would be like, you guys can make out in the room if you want. I'm not going to judge you if you guys just want to practice. And we'd be like, no, Maya, we're like going out. Like, we're going out to like a party or something. We're not going to just make out right now in the room for you.
Of course, I was kidding too.